Hi, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Community Male Empowerment Project, where today we'll be focusing on business-related topics and issues. Today, I kind of want to start out by telling everybody three things that every business owner needs to know. Entrepreneurs in the tech field, the hospitality field, and the retail field are joining Illinois and joining Chicago on moving their businesses to the downtown area. Chicago is a largely dense, populated city, and it makes a difference on where you locate your business on how successful it'll be. You can take a lot of advantage of a lot of programs and opportunities that are being held here in Chicago and also in the surrounding areas. But first off, I want to share with you a little bit about what you didn't know in the state of Illinois. Did you know that in the state of Illinois that we are top 10 in manufacturing? Let me pull this up here for a second. So if your company designs goods that needs manufacturing, or are looking to move your place down to Chicago, Illinois ranks in the top 10 in the United States for manufacturing. Having your goods manufactured locally can really save your company money, and you can still offer your customers a quality product. With that being said, the country is evolving into supporting small businesses. It's evident now. There's a lot of programs that are being pushed out. A program called STEP, which stands for Small Business Administration's State Trade and Export Promotion Grant, is going to be coming to Illinois. It's giving about $1 million away to local businesses that now they can use in order to deal with providing export training, development, just programs that people aren't probably aware of. Tourism is up. It's what a great place to showcase your business here in Illinois when this is a place that everybody is looking to as a destination city. Tons and tons of unique cultures and backgrounds here are celebrated, are cherished here, and people thrive in this type of economy. But kind of moving forward, everybody that has a small business has certain issues and needs, and one of those, I believe, is really having access to the capital. So today's guest speaker is Karl Riley. He's the Assistant Vice President for U.S. Bank. He's in charge of business banking and commercial lending. Welcome to the show, Karl.
Thank you. How are you doing, sir? Thank you very much.
Doing well. So, there's probably a lot of different business owners you helped in the past. I can tell you definitely, really have shown through with your work and through your history by your testimonials. But, kind of help us out on letting us know what the, common or traditional business owner experiences.
Sure. So thank you for having me on your show today. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to the business owners of Chicago about what we can do for them at the bank, at U.S. Bank. So what I do is I'm a business banking officer, and I will meet with clients specifically at their businesses and come in and talk to them a little bit about what their goals are, who pays them,
okay,
right? Because you need to get paid.
Yes.
Who do you pay? And then do you own any real estate? And so generally I will, have these conversations with clients and try to figure out where their pain points are and help them to make things a little bit easier in life. I would say, in Chicago this day and age, access to capital is one of the biggest things. People are trying to figure out where the money is. Mm-hmm. Without having a relationship with a banker, sometimes you need that person to give you some honest feedback on where your business is and helping you to steer you towards where the capital is. So.
Feedback is very key. I'm glad you said that. So with that being said, what are some of the agendas or what are basic things that business owners should know going forward if maybe they want to, they may not have a Fortune 500 company, but maybe they want to get involved as a property manager or have a company that deals in maybe real estate development?
Sure. So definitely real estate development is a great way to build wealth. It's a great thing that we have in our community. And it's a great place to start if you want to be in business. People need somewhere to sleep, somewhere to live.
That's true.
Right? So at U.S. Bank, one thing we do specialize in particularly well is investment real estate. And I will focus on loans from $100,000 up to $2.5 million, which means you're getting a lot of the first-time buyers in that group of people. And what we are looking for in particular when we're starting out is 2 years of tax returns, maybe a nice income coming in from your job so you can support yourself. And then we'd like for you to have at least 20% to put down. In a moment, I'm going to go through and show you some of the information that we have on that program. But that's for our investors, and it's a great way to build wealth. The other side of the coin is your active that's passive. So what you want to have is an active business owner who's out there creating jobs.
Correct.
And doing stuff.
Yeah, jobs are uniquely important to each and every community across America, and obviously Chicagoland. We really have to make sure that that's known. Jobs are just so important when it comes to the small business owner. Now you can tell how well that local community is doing by how well small businesses are hiring.
That's right. That's right. Many of our major corridors in Chicago have great businesses on them with people who are providing services, because we're in a major city, you're likely to see more services than manufacturers. But we're trying to bring some of that manufacturing back to Chicago and to promote that. What I will say, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you can do to build some passive wealth. And we'll go through that real quickly. And then we will talk a little bit about some of the stories I have to tell about people who have started their business and created jobs in our community.
Okay, so what's the first thing a regular business consumer or just a customer can do as far as understanding the whole process of stepping into the realm as a business owner?
Sure. So 3 people you need to have as a business owner. You need to have a banker, a lawyer, and an accountant.
Okay.
All right. You say you're interested in starting a business. I'm going to ask you those 3 people. Who are the 3 people you deal with? Who's giving you your advice? It's going to be a banker, a lawyer, and an accountant, a CPA. All right. What I want you to do is I would like for you to have a business plan if you have just a startup.
Okay.
All right. And that's not for me as a banker. That's for you as the business person that's going to be doing your business.
Right.
I want you to know where you're going to be 18 months out, 24 months out. And I want you to understand, okay, I'm manufacturing. It's going to cost me something to make this, or I'm providing a service. It's going to cost me. What do I need to have to do that? Service. Let's take service first because we're in Chicago. So, let's say it's a hair salon. So I need to know how many people you need to have on your staff, how much your rent's going to be, what your light's going to be, just get an idea so you have a plan. And then the important part is, do you have the capital, the cash to keep you in
keep you afloat,
keep you afloat through this whole process that you're going to endeavor on. And that cash can come from a couple places, right? So naturally people want to come from the bank, right? But we want to see that you have some savings on your own. We want to make sure your credit score is solid. Before you start a business, you may want to have owned your own home, and maybe you have a home equity line of credit in place to kind of support you through this process. And it is okay to start off small. It is really smart to start off small and start in the garage and then build your business out of the garage and go from there. Keep your 9 to 5, but then also do your 5 to 9.
That's what being realistic is about. I'm glad you brought that point up, Karl.
Yeah, you just it's you work your 8 hours for somebody else, and you come back and you work your 4 to 8 hours for yourself and get that business going. Every banker wants to see tax returns. What does that mean?
Yes.
2 years in business.
2 years, okay.
All right, so start your business, incorporate. All right, talk to your accountant and find out which is the best structure to have your business incorporated in.
So
talk to your lawyer, and they'll give you some advice too.
So what can you do if you just, it's truly basic, just starting out. I get that. Some people may feel embarrassed. They may not want to say, okay, hey, I didn't have too much of sales my first year. Does that really deter businesses from really considering you in the future?
No. You need to sell something. All right, we're in business, so you need to start somewhere. You need to sell something. So if it's me, if it's you, all right, you have your idea, you've created your business plan. Now you have to go and execute that plan, and you need to keep on recreating that execution of that plan. So if it's going to be that you're going to do a lawn care service or you're going to own a grocery store, you need to sell. All right.
You got to be in business. You have to show something, right?
You sell, and you got to document it.
Okay.
All right. So
you want it on paper.
You got to come to the banker and ask him, hey, Karl, what tools do you have to help me make some money? All right.
Okay.
People want to pay you. How do you get paid? Taking cash only? People have credit cards in their pocket now, debit cards. You're going to want to take merchant.
I can only imagine how many business owners say they just only accept cash coming in. I mean, you have to start showing things at some point, right?
And so all that stuff gets documented, all right?
Okay.
And you get your accountant to go through and document your sales, which is going to help me as a banker to look at your financials and understand how you're doing. And then I'm going to ask the question. Now, in particular, I've seen where a person will come to me and say, Carl, I want a line of credit. And I'll say, okay, well, why do you want a line of credit? And that's not to be snooty or anything like that. It's to understand, what are you doing with the line of credit? And they'll say to me, you know what? I want a line of credit for working capital, which is a normal term to use. It just means that you have some cash available to you in case you want to buy some inventory or pay some employees through a period of time when you're waiting for a check to come in. It's like a big credit card.
Okay.
All right? Line of credit, think short-term needs. Don't buy a car on a line of credit, please.
Oh, man.
That's a short-term need. So we can provide you with, by seeing your numbers, we can figure out what percentage of your sales is in flux every month or two, or how long it takes you to get your payment in, and then we can look at how much we're going to give you on that line of credit to kind of keep you from going out of business, because there's a thing where you can grow out of business.
Okay. You can grow out of business.
You can grow too fast and not run out of cash, and then you can't meet your requirements.
Is that when you go to Shark Tank or something like that, or what happens at that point?
You can go to an investor and get some and sell a piece of your company and give up equity, or you can come to a bank or a lender. A lender, I say a lender particularly because not always a bank that lends money. A lender and give and then borrow some debt and pay back on interest rate.
Not to take you too far off the subject here, but what really is a big difference between getting what you consider business banking between a lender and an actual bank, a traditional bank?
Sure. So you got different people in the community that provide funding, and so there's of course mom and dad, right? So mom and
First
dad.
place to start sometimes.
Sometimes your family is where you go to and say, hey, let me hold some money. I want to go and invest in this idea. And if they are nice, they'll lend it to you. But if they're a little bit more savvy, they'll want a percentage of your company. All right?
Yes.
Then you've got the next level, which could be an angel investor. All right? And so that's going to be somebody who's going to want equity in your company. They're taking big risk. Then you have some of these not-for-profits. And there's a few of them I could talk about. In particular, you have to reach back to your show to get the names, but there are some in the community, CNI, Chicago Neighborhood Initiative, and Action, that will do small startup loans for people who have had challenged credit. So
what was that again now? It was
Action,
Action.
ACCION,
Okay.
Chicago, or CNI, Chicago Neighborhood Initiatives, that will do startup funding, little loans to kind of build your credit out. The next level graduated up is a bank,
Okay.
right? And so a bank generally is a risk-averse organization, right? They tend to look at it, and they want to see good credit scores, and they want to understand, exactly how you've been paid in the past. So it's really straightforward that you will make money in the future, and they kind of show you. And what we care about at a bank would be your cash flow. Like,
Okay.
what that means, your sales, you got expenses, some leftovers called net income. We want to see that net income and be able to lend against that.
Cash flow, people. Cash flow. You have to understand the terminologies if you're going to step into the business arena. This is just good to educate everybody up front, just so you know whether you're a savvy business owner or you're somebody that has been experienced long down the road. These are just refreshing the tools to make you a better business owner. People may not know or understand what the cost of money is or how to determine the proper ratios. I know maybe you can kind of cover just a little bit. What are typical down payments for usual business owners when they want to get maybe an equipment loan or if they're looking to purchase a property?
Sure. So there's different things, right? So with properties,
Okay.
right? Luckily, different banks do different things. So number one thing is I would ask your competitor or somebody that's in the same field as you who they're getting their financing from. If they don't want to tell you, come ask me and I'll help you figure out where they're getting their money from in the market. But real estate wise, generally 20% down, right? That's
Okay.
pretty standard. It depends
To the
on
board.
it depends on some factors, what type of business you are in. Sometimes it could be 30%. 20 to 30% is the range.
Okay.
Generally is 20%, but if you have a riskier business, we may ask for more collateral because we don't want to lose. It's a bank. It's your deposits. We don't want to lose your deposits, so we're going to take things very conservatively and understand how this works. The other side of it is equipment. So, equipment could be 0% down, where you've had the experience and you've gone to a car dealership and gotten a vehicle for your business or a piece of equipment, or it could be up to 10% down, right?
Mhm.
So, sometimes if you have a larger piece of equipment, you may need to put a little money down on it. And I would say, that these things, you can have a conversation with a professional to understand what you're borrowing, right?
Okay. So how does this relate to I mean, what can you? I know you can't give exact specifics, but can you share stories about some experiences?
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of listeners and viewers out there that probably are running to the same thing. Why am I getting denied? Or what happened here in this situation?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I think that bankers don't do a good job telling people why they got declined. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but I'd say, if I can give you some insight into why it's not working, I don't know everything, but I'll tell you what I'm seeing, and we'll fix it.
Right.
So what I've come across, I think we all experienced 2007, 2008, right? It was an interesting economy.
Very interesting.
And I think that generally most people would say, and I'm not saying the banks per se, but I'm saying most people would say banks kind of pulled back a little bit, right? Well, we are now in a time where growth is happening. Interest rates are rising a little bit, which is not a bad thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I would tell you about is a story about a manufacturer in Chicago who does air conditioners. And the gentleman had went through a personal situation. He had went through a divorce, so he had to do a bankruptcy.
Okay.
So when you do that, it will affect you on your business. So most people ask me, Carl, I have challenged credit. What can I do to get that fixed? Well, we took him through an alternative lender. He got a small loan. He proved that he would pay back the small loan in 2 years.
Okay.
He was not very happy about taking that small loan, but he took that small loan, right? And he paid back the payment. It was like $20,000. He paid back the $1,000 over 20 months, paid off to zero. Fantastic. He also opened a bank account with the bank, right? And he put $10,000, $20,000 into the account, and he used that account. He never had any overdrafts. So now he's proven that he's very responsible with his checking account. He's also proven to the bank that, and it's on his credit report, that he's paid back a small loan.
Okay.
So now I come back to the gentleman. This is 2.5 years later. This is a relationship. We talked and caught up sometimes. Told him the truth on some things. I declined him twice in the past because he wanted to rush and put in an application. But I said, listen.
Don't rush people.
Sometimes the process takes a little time.
Mm-hmm.
You want to build that track record. If you had a bad track record, you want to build a good track record. It's going to take you a little time. And so we put in for a credit card. It got approved. I said, okay, let's go in again. You need some equipment? He said, yeah, I do. I want to get a vehicle. So let me do that for you. Put in the equipment finance application, which allowed for 0% down. I gave him about $25,000 to buy a vehicle. Rate was normal, it was a good rate. And it wasn't the best rate because he didn't have the best credit, but it was a good rate. And he got the vehicle. We let 3 more months go by. Now his track record is looking a little bit better. I also advised him prior about some mistakes that I saw in his tax return. Now, I'm not a CPA, but I've seen a few of them now. And so I've seen a few tax returns, so I can say, hey, look, this might not be correct, or you may need a little, another look at these. We ended up finding something on his tax returns that showed a piece of equipment that a loan on a piece of equipment that he didn't even have anymore. It was some old stuff, junk that was on his tax return. So we cleaned that up. And because of that, he was able to get approved for the purchase of a building.
Get out.
That's right. So very happy about the situation. Went from a situation where he could have been declined and just sent off and never talked to again, to being managed and worked with and given advice. And now he's in a position to buy a building that he's looking to buy. He's looking to find a building now. So it's going to be a warehouse for his company.
I can only imagine the support of that support he feels, the power behind him now, knowing that, okay, we may not have gotten it right the first or the second time, but we got it right the third and fourth time, and now we're getting it right. I mean, I think it really breeds success, or success breeds itself by getting energy and actually trying to be pushed in the right direction. Some people we just don't know. We could be going and say that, hey, we're going to focus on doing a business here, and we believe we're taking the right steps and we're going down the right avenue. But if you go down that right avenue, you may be going down the wrong way if you get off at the wrong ramp.
That's right.
And I'm glad that you were able to bring him back on. That's my analogy here to show, because we all need help. I mean, this is why we're here, Karl. This is why the community is looking for solutions. They're asking for solutions to these problems that they have. There's a lot of vacant and abandoned buildings.
That's right.
There's tons of schools. There's tons of businesses that are closed and that are shut down. And I think it's important to know that anybody can take the step into it. It's just you have to focus on putting together a plan, being disciplined with yourself, and then, like he said earlier, getting those 3 people in place that are very important. Some of the things, I'm not trying to wrap things up over here, but some of the things I do believe in is that you have to understand the laws. You have to understand where things are created to give you an advantage, so now you can have a leg up into getting your business ahead. Opening a small business is not easy. Whether it's you're doing manufacturing or whether you're doing something of the service industry, I think that every city understands that the business owner has certain needs, and that's where individuals like Karl and other business banking professionals can come in. Karl, I kind of wanted to continue on with what you were saying, and I had to make that small interjection. One of the things I like to push out is tax credits, right? What are things that business owners can go to or have a better understanding about business tax credits?
Sure. I would particularly tax credits. So that's a unique question. I don't know everything about the tax credits, but I will say this. Generally, I would ask the aldermen if there's any opportunities for any tip dollars or anything like that in the area that they can help with some grants or something towards your business. A lot of the people, the aldermen in the area, want to see successful businesses in their wards, right? The city of Chicago does offer some opportunities for some credits, as well as the state of Illinois. I would say that there are some write-offs of being a business owner that most people know about, or if they don't know, they talk to their CPA or accountant, and then I know several in the area that can advise you on how to, get some deductions. But the biggest thing, I would say, check out the City of Chicago's website, and then look in there and you'll see some opportunities to take advantage of credits for real estate, as well as being a manufacturer or type of companies that you have in the area. Paying less taxes is the key to having some money to invest.
Yeah, good point here. You have to understand how it works. You have to understand what different programs and stuff is going to be put into, laws are going to be put into place. One thing I would like to bring up and show you here real fast is that, if I can pull this up here. So here we go. So this is from the CTA, right? So this is a small business program. So professional firms that are interested in working with the CTA authority on projects can take advantage of its small business programs, formed basically to allow businesses to be more competitive with larger firms, and it allows the CTA to set aside a certain number of contracted projects to be primed by small businesses. So to qualify, you should be SBE certified. We may not understand what SBE certified is, but this is a person that can definitely help you out. If you have any questions or any comments, please join our program weekly. We actually will bring in more expert speakers to talk about businesses and also community issues, also housing issues, social service issues. Before we get ready to go here, let's give a shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor is U.S. Bank, the power of us. One of the things I kind of always wrap up here is just to educate you guys, to let you know, listen, we are a community. We are here to help. If there's any type of questions that you may have, please feel free to go to our website, www.cmepprojects.org. If you have any questions about tonight's taping or showing, you can email us or call in. We'll be more than happy to help. We hope to have you guys here next week, as we'll be talking about more interesting topics and subjects that affect Chicagoland and the community around us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.